let's now head to the courts because the police in Accra have arrested another suspect in connection with the murder of the former Ibuakwa North MP Joseph Boache Danquah Edu. Mr. Edu was brutally killed at his Shiashi residence at night. First suspect, Daniel Aseidu, is standing trial for allegedly killing the MP. The accomplice was arraigned at an Accra District Court today. Joins Raymond Aqua joins me in the studio with the details of this latest suspect. Raymond, what more do we know about this person, this accomplice?
So we know he's in his mid-20s, first and foremost. He's actually a phone repairer. It's unclear where he actually plies his business, but we know that he does it at several places. The police also tells us that they went to the particular house on the fateful day together, but this gentleman did not enter the building. He confessed to having helped the gentleman. In fact, he said he stepped in his palm when he jumped over the wall and tried going through the wire gauge. So with the cicatrices that the other gentleman was holding, actually he cut the, the fence wall with that.
For him to get through.
For him to get through. So he jumped. He said he only left the building after hearing that this particular gentleman has actually been called out by a security man or somebody from the next building. So he ran away. He didn't know what happened in the building. He didn't know what the real intent of even going there was. But again, he was just accompanying a friend.
It's interesting that the kind of account he gives, Raymond, because how will he be an accomplice to someone when he does not know what he's going to do in the house, so especially climbing a wall? That's
what he told the police, that he actually helped the gentleman climb the wall. The police was even asking whether he knew the gentleman was a thief, so he knows him, but their relationship is one of friends and he helps him do some things sometimes. And that the intent, as of the time he was helping him climb the wall, was not known to him. So he only helped him do that. And beyond that, he ran away when he sensed there was trouble coming. He had been some hideouts changing until he was picked up recently by the police. We also know that this particular gentleman...
And where was he picked up?
They said that he was picked up as a hideout somewhere around Abubloshi.
Abubloshi. Okay. Now, after he was picked up, what happened? Today in court, what was he charged with?
Okay, so he was actually picked up on Thursday. They suspected there could be other people involved, so interrogate him for some time, engage him, and actually get to know if he can get some information. So what happened today was that he was for the first time brought to court on the charge of complicity to commit murder. And that particular charge the court took in and actually did not ask him anything. He was remanded to reappear on the 18th so that the case can continue from there.
Okay, that's for this case involving the continuing investigations by the police into how the member of parliament for Ibuakwa North was killed at his residence. So what does this mean for the substantive case we have?
Okay, so the substantive case has actually been concluded as a committal process. What is left is for the Attorney General to give specific opinion on whether they are going to prosecute the case and which court they want to go to. Mostly, the Attorney General will say that since it is murder, first-degree felony, take the person to the High Court where the person will stand trial, then detail this to be the actual charge sheet, and this is how we are going to go. So all of what has happened was to try to get him committed to the process, establish prima facie for a possible investigative span to have ended, moving on to when he can be prosecuted.
Okay, so that's what we know about this case. We'll keep an eye on it. 18th is the date that he will go back to court.
So Daniel Aseidu is also in court on the same day.
Daniel Aseidu, yes, the first person who was picked up in this case. That's for JB Danquah's case in court. But Raymond, you were also in court for another case involving the suspended national chairman of the NPP, Mr. Paul Afoko. What happened in court today? Okay,
so today's case actually was the case Samekra, suspended second vice chair of the NPP, took to court. Mr. Afoko is the main witness in the case. Don't forget, the NPP suspended General Secretary Kwame Japan has also been witness in this particular case. Samekra went to court saying that he refused to go before a disciplinary committee that invited him because after what happened to Afoko, there was no way he thought he would get justice from that particular committee. And mindful of the fact that Afoko was challenging the committee's constitutionality, he wanted the court to annul his suspension. The court has been sitting all through. In fact, today was the last day, pending judgment on the 3rd of next month. What the court today was supposed to do is conclude Afoko's testimony. Today, he went through much of what the job of the disciplinary committee is supposed to be, and why he insisted that Madam Gifty Eugenia Kusi, the Takwan Shaim MP, was not qualified to be on the panel. A letter emanated from the office of the minority leader to the party leadership, telling them that she had been nominated to serve in that position, which was previously occupied by W. Boafo, another MP. What then was the problem of Mr. Afoko? He believed that that particular letter was not dated in the first place, so it could have been fictitious. So nobody would have made a decision in that particular end. And he also said that the minority leader was not the person who appointed the parliamentary rep on the disciplinary committee. It was actually the party that did so, and mostly it was in consultation with the minority. So it wouldn't have been possible for the minority leader to have said that we are replacing our rep without going through the processes. So having truncated the process, you cannot be said to have actually elected the right person to be on the committee. And a committee that is improperly constituted cannot have a mandate to perform its duty. So that's what Afoko is saying. This committee was flawed from day one. It gave several very questionable judgments about me, about Samikrab, and also about Kwabena Japan. All of this is what has brought us here. So I am here to say, and the question was put to him.
And the thing about you being here to say, you mean Mr. Foko standing there saying, I am here to say. Then we don't get the wrong impression. Okay.
So, Mr. What do you call it? Mr. Foko also was asked the question, are you bitter? Are you angry with the party? Is it out of some grudge you bear against the party? Then he said, no way. In fact, he loves the party. The more reason why he went to court. He wants the rule of law to be maintained in the party. He believes in the traditions of the party, and that if there's anybody who can ensure that the right thing is done, it is he who has, in times past, led the party.
Okay, so those were his words in court today with the testimony. But you also mentioned that this case was filed by the suspended second vice chairman of the party, Samikrab. Was he in court? What did he say?
Samikrab was in court. He has had a testimony in times past. What he has maintained was that a fictitious body sought to remove him from office, a body with no locus in the party's constitution, and he decided not to even give the hearing because to him, he will be endorsing the illegality of the disciplinary committee if he had appeared before that particular committee. Beyond that particular discussion is what has brought us here. He failed to go, they suspended him, he went to court to challenge that particular suspension. So the judge heard all sides. Dennis Ajay said, on the 3rd of June, I will deliver my ruling. Ideally, we would have suspected that both sides will present their, what they call statements, but he said he's heard in the arguments. He's fairly abreast with all that they want to say. 3rd of June is decision time.
So that all the discussions have already been done, testimonies been given. One we haven't heard a lot from since this case started. In fact, since he was suspended, Mr. Kwabena Japan, you say he was in court today?
Yes, he was in court, not necessarily knowing why he was there, because in times past, he had also given his own testimony in this particular case. So he was in court to, observe the proceedings. He was not on the witness list today, and he was actually together. Later, after they ended, he left with Afoko and the rest.
Okay. Did he share any words? What was his mood?
Not at all. He was calm, reflective. He failed to speak to the media. When we asked for an interview, he just said no and moved off.
I see. All right. So that's for that case. The date again, 3rd of June.
3rd of June.
We'll get the ruling on this matter for the NPP and the suspended chairman. In fact, the second vice chairman is the one who sent this particular case to court. Mr. Foko only went in there as a witness on this particular matter. We'll see on the 3rd of June what the verdict of the court will be on this matter, which has dragged on for quite some time. Thank you, Raymond Akwa, for the details in court.